Good morning, good evening, and welcome to this week's live chat about live chatting. I am a little bit tired today, just a little tired. I'm just getting into the groove. I've had 2 coffees. I was tempted to make a third for the live stream, decided against it. I thought, jittery me may not be the best for live streaming. So I hope that you can hear, that you can see, everything's going good from your end. This week, I wanted to tackle the question of what do I talk about in a live stream? Now, we may have brushed over this in the past in our previous live streams, but I really wanted to have a big deep dive talk about how to choose a live stream topic. And I figured the easiest way for me to demonstrate that is how I choose my live stream topics. Now, I want to preface this with just because this is how I do it doesn't mean it's the only way to do it and doesn't mean it's necessarily the best way to do it. It's just a way that works for me. So I wanted to share my thought process with you and how I go about choosing my topics for my live streams. And hopefully that could help you choose your topics for your live streams. I'm really hoping you can't hear my washing machine singing the song of its people right now, because I can. But first things first, I want to say a big good morning to everybody jumping in. Kathy Breyer. You know, Kathy, when I first saw your message, I had to quickly double check that I was set up this stream on the right channel. I know you joined me on the Fibrific streams and I had a little heart attack, but thank you so much for jumping over here as well. Good morning to amazing yacht destinations. Good morning from Thailand. It's so good to see you. Thank you for waking up with me on another Monday. I really appreciate that. It is Monday morning here in Australia and for, parts of the world. I know it's still Sunday evening for some of you. Good morning to Leanne. It's so good to see you. Us plus Dad. It's great to see you as well. Trish does stuff. It's so good to see you. Thank you for jumping in. It's okay. It's okay. I just hadn't noticed you jump into one of these streams before. So it is so good to see you here. Good morning, Doug. I hope you had a restful night's sleep and it was cool enough for you, because it's pretty hot around our parts at the moment. It's very hot, and I know other parts of Australia are about to start having their own heat waves. So, I'm hoping that everyone can just keep it cool. Good morning to Russell. It is great to see you. Oh, face fuchsia poop shape. I had to quickly check the chat to see what on earth that was. I really wish StreamYard and YouTube would play a little bit better with these these emojis. Right, so rather than getting the description, I'd love to see the emoji. But anyway, luckily I always keep the YouTube live chat open as well. Oh no. Trish says I thought it was Monday. Oh no. Oh, and Kathy has snow. Okay. My husband this week pointed out that the one instance in my life where I have seen snow, it doesn't actually count. So I was just like, oh, okay. So I've seen snow. I haven't touched snow. So I saw it. Okay. So let's just have a little jump in here and have a little discussion about how I go about choosing the topics. So sometimes it can be a little, I'm going to go with daunting, especially if it's your first few live streams and you don't really know what you want to talk about. It's different if you have like a clear path and you're delivering a week by week course or something like that, where before you even start the very first live stream exactly how it's going to be running and how it's going to be rolling. But as time progresses on and you've done more and more live streams, choosing topics for your live streams, either when you've run out of your core stuff or when you're very first starting your live streams, choosing the topics for your live streams can be a bit daunting. So how I choose my topics for a channel like mine where it's helping people, I'm active in a lot of groups around YouTube education. I'm active on their Facebook groups. I'm active in Discord servers. I may not always comment, but I'm always reading, and I get to see a lot of the questions people are asking. So sometimes I get my inspiration from that. Like this week, That's where our how to choose a live stream topic came from. It was a post that I saw in a Facebook group where someone was wanting to know, I mean, I took it slightly to another place, but they were wanting to choose a game. They're gamers and they were trying to choose which game they wanted to live stream. And so choosing these things comes down to one answer. What would help your audience? What would your audience enjoy? It comes down to what is the core offering you have for your audience. There's no point me sitting here on a Monday morning live streaming and playing a game, because that's not what you're here for. You're here to learn about live streaming. So I need to make my live streams around, even sometimes tenuously, around live streaming. So I need to think about, what is my goal for this channel? What is my goal to help you with? And what is your goal as the audience that you want to get better at? So for this channel, it's live streaming. So that narrows it down to something live streaming. Still a massive picture. We still need to narrow it in a little bit. So I try and have a think about, okay, what's something that I'm interested in this week? What's something that I could actually talk about for, 10, 15 minutes, whatever. You guys know I can talk under wet cement with a mouthful of marbles. It doesn't matter. I can talk, but not everybody can, and I'm aware of this. And I can't talk on every topic. I can't. Sometimes I really need to research hard and really need to dig in before I'm confident to share it with you. And that's still with things with live streaming. I still go in and research the topics before I go live with them. So I'm going to jump in and have a little look in the chat here. Trish says that to have touched snow, you need to roll in it and make angels. I don't know if I'd be able to get back up again. Yeah. Let me have a look here. Doug is chatting with Trish. Good morning, live stream consultants. Great to see you. Let's have a look here. Russell says, I can't imagine Chantelle with nothing to talk about. I mean, it happens. There are times when I am gobsmacked and I'm a bit like, so, there are times, but when it comes to live streaming, yarn craft, there are things that I'm very passionate about, and those things I can talk about. So that is where I've built my businesses and my channels around, is things that I'm comfortable and happy to continuously learn and be passionate about. So when it comes to choosing your live stream topic, it doesn't have to be super narrow. It doesn't have to be like the nichest of niche topics. It can be slightly broader. It's a live stream. So while having a topic is a great idea, sometimes it's the starting point or it's the jump off point. You guys here in the chat know that I will quite often go off on a tangent to answer your questions in the chat. I've been trying in the last few weeks to try and have a little bit of core information at the start, and then we go more into the deep Q&As towards the middle and the end. But I also, it's like shiny thing. What's Home Rapid Repair saying? Home Rapid Repair saying, Chantelle is not just talking, you're giving our great tips, tricks and advice. Well, I'm hoping so. How's the Rodecaster working out? Well, you tell me. I'm plugged in and using it right now. So I'm happy with it. I'm still learning it. It is a whole new piece of equipment. My last audio interface was very simple. It was plug in the XLR, plug in the headphones, adjust the volume, done. That's it. This one, there's a lot more. So having a topic to talk about can also help bring you back when you go off on a little tangent, which I find super helpful. I have my YouTube screen open, so I have the title of this stream right in front of me, which keeps reminding me how to choose your live stream topic. So, because I am that person who, like you guys know, I'm queen of Tangent City. Let's go off on this little adventure to a completely unrelated topic. I am that person, and I know that about myself. So I've got ways to help draw me back to my topic. So how to choose your live stream topic really helps me to narrow it down for you so that I can keep coming back to that. So, about how to choose your live stream topic, not just the fact that I can keep coming back to it. Sorry, as I said, not quite enough sleep, and my stutter is a little alive this morning. Having the live stream topics at your fingertips and at your hands can really help you to keep focused and to keep going how you need to keep going. So I choose my topics based on you, my audience. What do I think would help you? I'm in these groups. I'm seeing the questions that people who want to live stream are asking. And I think, would that help my audience? You guys might not be the same as the person asking the question. It could be a group of people who don't YouTube. So, you know, they might be asking from a different angle. But can I turn that idea? Can I make it meaningful and helpful to you by bringing it into our sort of realm of live stream help? So working out the topic of your live stream comes down to how well you know your audience. Now, we're building here. We're new. There's lots of new faces every week coming onto this channel. And so I don't know all of you super well. So, you know, you adding the comments here into the chat, putting comments into the description would help me to pick the next live stream topic. Is there something that is just stopping you from live streaming? Put that in. You know, is there a piece of equipment you have and that you don't know how to use and you feel like that's stopping you from live streaming? Put that in. So working out what your audience need, and it's a little bit of a clairvoyance game sometimes. It's like trying to answer the questions that you have before you realize you need them, so that you can go, oh my gosh, that was my next question. So having those can sometimes help as well. I'm just gonna have another little look in the chat here. Leanne says, sometimes your live audience can lead the chat with topics or questions. Absolutely. Absolutely. Magic Flying Potato, it's so good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Yeah, I think I've had enough coffee for this morning. I think I have. I only drink espresso, so I've already had two. Let me look here. I would love that, but I don't have large enough participation. And that is an excellent point. Sometimes when you're beginning your live streaming journey, you don't know exactly what your live audience wants because they haven't told you, because they're not there. So how I would deal with that is create live streams based on maybe comments that you've seen from your other videos. Go through and go into more detail on something. So if somebody's asked a question, I mean, I really don't know anything about home repairs, but say they've asked a question about, you know, a plumbing fix that you put into one of your previous videos. You could go into more detail. You could refer back to that video. You could even mention that person's comment by name, pre-organize it, grab a screenshot, bring it up on screen. Really bounce off that and expound on that a lot more so that you can be helping that one person at least if they're interested in live streams. The other thing to remember is sometimes, like, people have different tastes and people have different ways that they enjoy consuming content. And I find this really hard, but not everybody likes watching a live stream. I know. I don't understand it myself. I personally prefer watching a live stream that is inclusive, that is bringing in the chat, that's talking to people, that's, you know, bringing it all back. But not everybody likes watching a live stream. And then not everybody who watches live streams likes watching a replay. So it makes it difficult because you may be answering the question for a person and that person may never watch the live stream because they don't like live streams. So, but the try and remember is that if one person has asked the question, there could be 10 people who were thinking about asking the question and that just were like, I'm not going to ask it, I'll feel silly. So, or, you know, I don't want to ask that because it might not be exactly what the channel's about, or for whatever reason, they may not want to ask it. But when one person asks it, it's a pretty good bet that somebody is thinking it. So try and bring it across that way. I know that I'm just trying to think. Christina Smallhorn, she has a real estate channel. She used to do a lot. I don't think she does it this way anymore, but one way she was really building her live streaming audience was she would go through her comments of her videos and really deep dive into some of those comments and questions that people had on her long form videos. And she would bring those into the live stream. So people wanted to watch the live streams just in case their question got answered. So it's definitely a way that can totally work at not just creating an interesting replay, but also to start getting people in. And you can reply with, hey, I went deep on your question here in this live stream, check out the timestamp. And you can reply with the link to your video and the timestamp, or actually you can have it click the button start at this time and grab that link so that they can totally get their question that way, and then that gets them over to the live stream to get their answer. So there's lots of ways to there's some really creative and fun ways to actually get people into watch at least part of a live stream. And it's like, oh no, they're only going to watch 5 minutes of the live stream and they're going to click away. You know what? If that person was never going to watch the live stream at all, that's 5 more minutes than you were going to get. So let me just have a look here. Home Rapid Repair is saying that that they chat with Christina Smallhorn. She's a fantastic, and very, very, absolutely. She's wonderful. We actually have a video here where I was interviewing Christina last year. So if you want to go back and check that out as well. It was such a fun chat. We had such a good time. Let me grab some more questions here. Amazing Yacht Destination is saying replays. Yeah, you can make things for the replay. You guys know how I feel about that. I don't prioritize the replay. And I know that that is against a lot of really top level creator advice. And I understand that. And that is partly why I don't grow as fast as other channels. And I understand that this is a decision that I made, knowing the consequences. I make my live streams for you, those people that have made the effort to be here at the same time as me. That is my top priority. Then my secondary priority is those people who would have loved to have been here but can't because of time zones. And I get that, because I'm in Australia, we're normally at the bottom of the list for people trying to sort out time zones. So it's like, so often it's just like something set up either in a UK time zone or a US time zone. Quite often neither of those work. Like not during Australian business hours anyway. So that's why I'm quite often up and doing things at what seems to be crazy o'clock, because otherwise I miss out. And I don't like missing out on things just because of my clock. But I totally understand that not everybody can do that. So I do understand that the way I do things is not necessarily the best way for everybody. And I get that. So you need to go through and look at what works for you, what works for your audience, and work around that. So I personally love you guys here who join me on the live chat. I love those that join on the replay. And I think the replay viewers, not everybody makes the decision to miss out on a live stream. Some people don't see it in time. There's lots of reasons for the replay. But my focus is you guys here in the audience. I do want to answer your questions. You've made the effort to be here. So that's what I try to do. Home Repair says, I like that idea. I think I'll do a stream with showing previous viewers questions from my videos. Yeah. And short live stream, my short live stream 7-week experiment so far, a few replay views. We did have one pop off and get 10 times the normal view. That is awesome. I'm so excited to see the word experiment in this, because quite often people just want the way to do it. I want exactly this way. I want the step by step. This is how it must be done. And I want to follow that step by step. But I can give as much advice as I want, and so can somebody else. But no one's going to know how your audience are going to respond to that until you test it or experiment. Because doing short live streams it looks like it's working for Home Rapid Repair. It may not work on other channels. It may not work for other niches. You need to test it, and you need to be willing to experiment. One live stream, one video, not an experiment. It needs to go for weeks. It needs to go for weeks and months, preferably 3 months is how long I try to do my experiments for, because you need a decent amount of data. And on a smaller channel like this one, I'm not going to get the data in a month. I'm not going to get the data in 2 months. I need to research a little longer and see how it goes. So I love seeing that you're willing to experiment and willing to try things out. So as long as you're not like chopping and changing every week and making something different, you need to, like here on these early Mondays for me, on these Monday morning live streams for me, we decided it's about a month now, that I would test out this time slot to see how it worked for everybody. It's working for me. It's actually doing really good things for my brain, which I'm loving. But I'm not 100% certain it's working for the audience. So we'll see. I'm going to keep going. It's only been a month, so we'll keep going. Let me have a look here. Amazing. I haven't lived, maybe lived, but what I'm not sure about, I am not sure what to talk about. I have a convo with the voices in my head. It is a little bit like that. Sometimes it's a little bit like that, where you're trying to work out what you're going to talk about. So think about, what is the topic of your channel? What are people coming to watch your content for? Look at your most popular videos. Look at which ones are driving the traffic to your channel. They're the ones people are actually interested in. You may have somebody in the chat or somebody in the comments going, make this video, make this video, make this video. But when you look at your analytics, they could be just one noisy person who really wants that thing for themselves. They need it. And it's not a bad thing to make something for one person, because as I said before, one person saying it out loud could be other people thinking it. But if the data in the analytics is saying something else, go with the data in the analytics. If you have to choose one or the other, go with the data in the analytics. Amazing Yacht Destination says, I also like what Doug is doing, answering questions on shorts. Yeah, I've been really enjoying that series that Doug is doing, that testing that he's doing, where the comments that are coming up through his videos, he's actually responding to them with a short. And that is a lot of fun. That looks great. I would love to do this. I just don't get all that many comments. So I don't really have the opportunity but I do get this opportunity every week where we get to talk backwards and forwards, and I love that. Magic Flying Potato says, I was not getting a lot of good results doing live streams and replays, and I asked my community what type of content they prefer, and only 6% said live streams. Yeah, it's a bit of pill to swallow, especially if you enjoy live streaming. And that's not to say not to do live streams, because it's something you enjoy. If it's something you enjoy and you want to do, you should totally continue to do them, but be building other content around it. Don't make that the only thing you're doing if that's not what your whole audience is after. Like, learn from my mistakes. Some of you may already know this, but on my other channel, excuse me, I had to make some time decisions a few years back, and I had to decide, I was running a business by myself. I was hand dyeing yarn by myself. I was doing all of these tasks, live streaming, creating content, doing everything. I was burning out. I was running out of time. And the money from my business was coming not from YouTube at all. It was coming from the physical stock. So I was like, I need to pour more time into the physical stock so that I can, get a little bit more income in. And so I sat down and had a big long think about it. I was like, what is the best way I can get my time back? And I was putting at least one full day a week into making a 5 to 10 minute video, whether it was a tutorial or a review or whatever. I was doing that. Now, what I did not do, and this is the lesson to learn, is I didn't check to see where the growth of my channel was coming from. I assumed that the people that I was chatting to every week coming to my live streams were my core audience. And it turned out it wasn't the case. So, I mean, I still went the path. I stayed on the path for quite a few years. And the growth of my channel stalled because I went from one pre-recorded, sort of 10-ish minute long video a week plus my hour-long live stream to a 2-hour live stream on a Thursday, which I still do every Thursday in Australia. And my channel growth stalled. It totally stalled. I have a really amazing tight-knit community who join the live streams, who support the channel, who do all these amazing things. but the channel stopped growing. I've noticed for myself, and it may not be the case for everybody else, it'll depend on your content, but I find that the video on demand, that possibly even the shorts, they are what is bringing people to the channel. Now, those people that come to the channel, they may or may not be interested in live streams, and so that's cool if they are, so you get more people on your live streams. And more viewers and more replay watchers. But if they're not interested in live streams, so there's this analytic now that you can check on YouTube to see what percentage of your viewers like live streams, like VODs, like shorts. So you can actually see at a glance what your audience are into. Whereas back in the day, that wasn't as easy to work out other than, you know, looking at the views. And also back in the day, I didn't have a lot of people watching my videos. So it was a little bit tricky because my live streams were getting 50 views, but this video I put out 2 weeks ago, it also has 50 views. So I got 50 views in a week on a live stream. I didn't take into account the fact that that live stream, that 50 views that it got in a couple of weeks was pretty much all it was going to get for the most part. I forgot that evergreen content continues to grow. So looking back now on those videos, some of those 5 to 10 minute videos have now got 20,000, 30,000 views. The live streams I put out at the same time has got 70, 75 views. It scored an extra few views, but the other videos really, really grew. So making the decision that I made was probably not the best decision for my channel. It was the best decision for me at the time. And now I'm reversing that decision. I'm going into making more varied types of content. And I am seeing a slower uptick, which is also nice. So you need to look at what you're doing. You need to look at your audience, and you need to make your decisions based off actual data, not just off feeling, okay? Let me scroll. I need a drink after that. Live stream consultant says that in general there are a few types of streams: topics plus Q&A, straight Q&A, hanger talk, unboxing streams, DIY streams. There are, and some things don't always lend themselves easily to be a live stream as well. But if you really, really want to live stream, you can totally live stream. The other thing that you can do, and it's not something I do, but you can totally do it, is you could record your content live. So you could have it live like this, not interact with the chat, and record your content. Then using something like StreamYard, then you can download the video, edit it, and then re-upload it as a VOD. That is totally a doable thing. And then chat with your community afterwards, or at the beginning, you know, at the beginning go, hey, I'm going to be recording this section live. So I'm not going to be interacting with the chat for this sort of 10 to 15 minute period, but please hold your questions. I'm going to jump into the chat at the end. And then you can, then at the end of it, you can, you know, after you've had your chat, after you've finished everything off and you've hit end stream, you can download the original stream from StreamYard onto your computer. There's actually buttons now just to click it and have it drop straight into a couple of the different editing softwares. I think it's Adobe, and there's something else. I think it might be DaVinci, but I'm not sure. You'd have to have a look. But so that you can just drop it straight in, and then you can just trim it and tighten it and add in any end screens, pre-screen rolls, any B-roll, any audio, anything additional you want to add. You can totally go in and add that. I don't personally do that. I mean, I could technically. I mean, now that we've been running this series, I could totally be grabbing the live stream, dropping it down, grabbing the little chunks of information, condensing it into a 5-minute video and throwing it back up. It could totally work. It comes down to time. Am I going to do it? Not this week. That's my thing of like, maybe not ever. Not this week. But yeah, so there are different ways you can do and you can run your live streams, and different topics lend themselves to be better than others for the live streams. Yeah, Sparrow Part. That it is. It's very early sometimes in Australia. Let me just keep scrolling. Everyone's chatting with each other. Doug's at work, so he's in and out of the stream. I appreciate that. Congratulations, Luigi, on your 40 subscribers. That is awesome. So glad to see the growth happening over on your channel. Let us look. No, Doug did not go live this week. He did put a message up He did put a message up on his Facebook, not Facebook, on his YouTube channel about how he wasn't going live. So if you want that information, go over and check Doug's channel. Also, the thing to remember is if someone doesn't go live, they don't actually owe you an They don't owe you an explanation. Just to keep that in mind, Luigi. Like, if something comes up, something comes up. It's like, sorry, I can't make it. That is answer. Like, I actually think if an audience is used to a live stream, a little note saying, hey, I'm not going to be going live. That's all that's needed. They don't need to go into explanations of why, unless they want to, which they totally can, but they don't have to. Let me look here. Morning, Gamer Widows. Great to see you. It's so good to see you. So my question for those of you here that you're watching, what is something that you think would be a good live streaming topic for your channel, or you would like to spitball or some more input on? Pop it into the chat. We can go through it together. We can have a discussion. So I'm going to have another drink. I've gotten a bit parched. Luigi says I put Q&A questions. I'm not sure. Q&A questions is a good live stream title. I don't know if it's necessarily like Q&A questions only is a good live stream title, especially if you do have a smaller audience, maybe only a couple of people coming into a live chat, because that puts the onus on the audience that before they even arrive, they're going to be expected to ask questions. It depends. You can think of it that way. You can think of it as a way of like, yeah, I finally get to ask my questions and they might answer them. That's also another way to think about it. But having a broader topic, at least to start with, like those of you that come onto this channel, you know that we start with a topic and then we move into Q&A. And my very first couple of these, I did put Q&A in the titles. And while I was sort of jumping, I was stealing Nick and Doug's time slots when they were traveling. I was like, thanks for that. I'll have those. And because they used the term Q&A, I sort of added it. But I find that if I can make it a bit more specific about what kinds of questions I'll be answering, that would definitely be a better option. Let me have a look here. Yeah, hydrating is definitely the way to go for sure. Qualify what the Q&A is. Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Like what I just said before, definitely qualify it. That way you can make sure people are coming in with the questions that are around the topic you want to answer. Like I've seen some people jump into live streams that could be about one particular topic. And then all of a sudden they're asking questions like, what's your favorite TV show? And you're just like, and it kind of derails you a little bit because your brain is on what the topic of the live stream is about. And this is like a totally left field thing. It's definitely something that you may be interested in. Like I definitely have favorite TV shows, but it's disjointed. It's not actually relevant to the stream. And while yes, it's engagement and it is chat rate is improved, all this sort of stuff, cool. It can actually derail the conversation, which again, not necessarily a bad thing, but you need to understand what you want to do, how you want to do it, and what is the purpose of your stream. Are you happy to be derailed? Do you find being derailed distracting? Do you find that you find it very hard to get back on track? Like you have to think about how it works for you, because sometimes if someone asks a question, you may need to just skip over it. Like you read it, and you're like, and you need to have pre-thought out, or at least I need to have had pre-thought out some of the like, okay, I'm not going to be answering any questions about anything that's not this thing, or at least loosely related to it, because I will end up on a tangent talking about Star Trek, you know, because I can talk about that for hours too. So you know yourself as well as your audience. Mine would be around, so Florida Manufactured Home Living said that mine would be around housing, but some of that is very controversial. So live scares me a bit versus recorded podcast. Okay, so when you say that it's controversial, do you mean Like it would be aggressively controversial or conversation starting controversial, because that could actually be not a bad thing. But if it's aggressive or personal attacky, then yeah, stick with the recorded podcast. But the other thing is that that pre-recorded podcast could also be something that you do that you then feel confident and comfortable to jump into a live stream. You're used to talking about a topic without editing or with very little editing for an amount of time now. Then after you've been doing that for a little while, maybe you could be like, oh, I'm going to do a special live. You don't have to make it like a regular thing like Justin Brown. He does one live, well, 4 lives a year or something, 3 to 4 lives a year on his channel. His audience don't expect it. So even though he has a 1.5 million plus subscriber channel, he does usually only end up with around 100 to 200 in the live chat, because his audience aren't expecting a live stream. That could actually also be in your favor as well. Those people that are more aggressive may not join the live stream because they're not used to it being a live stream. But lots of options, lots of options. Luigi says, I thought we used Spotify to make podcasts. You can use so many things to make a podcast now, Luigi. You can share your podcasts on Spotify if you like, but you don't have to make them for Spotify. You can make your podcasts as a video podcast for YouTube, and then grab the audio and pop it over and share that out. I know at the moment, recently YouTube have now allowed RSS feeds into YouTube. So if you have a podcast that usually went out like via, is it Buzzsprout? I can't remember the name, but like using Anchor or Buzzsprout or one of those other more traditional podcasting platforms, so that it hits Apple Music, it hits, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, all the podcast players. But now you can actually bring that into your YouTube podcast playlist using their RSS feeds. So, but that's an audio only ingest. So if you want to make a video podcast, you still need to make it on YouTube first. But Spotify are allowing video podcasts, I believe, but I would still be aiming for YouTube because Spotify, they're still testing things out. YouTube is the video platform of choice. So I would make things for YouTube and then share them to these other places. Maybe mention YouTube a little less. Maybe not talk about liking and subscribing as such. Maybe look at what Spotify wants you to do, whether it's heart or follow. Maybe work out some sort of terminology of like hit those buttons to come back next week or something a little more generic. Although, YouTube does really want us to say like and subscribe now because it makes them sparkly when people say it, not during a live stream, but the replay will show it. So you've got to think about the end game for your content. I've been testing, again with the testing, I've been testing out this series of live streams as a podcast playlist. So people can listen to it while in YouTube Music. So you can find these creator questions over on, so I can't remember, what did I call it? Going live on YouTube, something like that. I don't even remember. I'm such a good person. I should probably know this stuff. But there is a playlist on my channel, so you can check it out. Just go to playlists and the podcast playlist. That is now available in YouTube Music. So if you just want to listen to the replay and not actually watch it, you can pop it in your pocket, go off and listen while you're doing other things. So I'm testing that out and I'm actually noticing a few views come through that way. So I'm pleasantly surprised. It was no real additional work for me. I just created another playlist, created a square banner for it, but it is definitely a way to get some more engagement. And I should probably look, but I don't think you can comment from there. I think you have to come to the video to comment. Let's have a look here. Aggressively, a lot of unhappy folks across the country that are having difficulty affording it as, yeah, okay. Yeah, we're having a similar issue here in Australia as well. Yeah, I get it. I would definitely be doing it as a recorded podcast to start with. Oops, hang on a second. If your initial topic is dying and you can derail a little bit to get engagement, if not people, but get bored and leave the live stream. That is also true. The topic you chose may not have been the best idea. I've definitely done it. You think that you've done the research, you think you know what people want, but those people that actually turn up for the live streams may not be interested. You can work it out based on the chat and kind of tweak it a little bit, or you can think and plan and go, I'm doing this for the replay. I know the replay viewers are going to love it. It's a juggling act, and only you can decide for your channel. And testing out various ways to do this and work out what your audience like, what you like making, that does play a part. It has to play a part. What kind of content do you actually enjoy making? What kind of, like, you can't just make it all about personal enjoyment if this is a business task, right? So if you are doing YouTube for fun, it has to be about enjoyment. If you are doing YouTube for growth and expansion and you want to make income from it, and not just as like a little bit of like, oh, a bit of, $5 here and there would be a bonus. No, if your goal is to actually make proper income from the channel, you need to think of it from a business growth strategy perspective. So there may be times when the content that your audience want doesn't 100% align with the kind of content you prefer to make. So make the content the audience is responding to in the analytics, make more of that. It doesn't mean you can't come in and make the content you like every now and again. You have to reward yourself. Otherwise, you are going to hate your channel. If there is nothing you are making that you're enjoying, you are going to hate the process. So you need to work out a way to balance it. I remember a while back, Sarah Dici was talking about how she makes one piece of content for the channel, one for her core audience, and one for herself. So she rotates through this thing. So what the loudest people are asking for, what the analytics wants, and then something she enjoys making. And that was how she kept the balance going so she could keep going. Amazing Yacht Destination says, I prefer YouTube as I totally went away from Spotify as they kept giving me ads in Thai and I don't understand and just interrupted my listening experience. Also gone premium to YouTube to avoid the ads. Yeah, I'm a premium user for YouTube as well. I don't like ads if I can avoid it. I was very lucky. I did jump in a long time ago when it was still YouTube Red. And so, they've grandfathered in some pricing, but recently that pricing has also changed. We had to sit down and make the decision. So having that, but I didn't realize that Spotify would give you ads in Thai if you're watching from Thailand. That would be frustrating if you don't speak Thai. Yeah. But absolutely, I'm not a fan of, I pay for premium, so I get YouTube music for free as part of that. I don't pay for additional music services. I have a question. Is Podbean a good podcast app to put on your YouTube channel? Did you try that? It's available. I have no idea. I'm not a big podcast person. I would definitely be jumping into the live streams of people like Pat Flynn and some of the others that run more dedicated podcasts. They would definitely be able to answer your podcasting questions better. I am dabbling and I am learning. So I as I learn things, I can share them, but I've never heard of Podbean. So definitely would be going and checking out one of those more podcast-based channels who can give you a better answer. 100% views to likes. Congrats. Oh, thanks. That's awesome. Thank you for letting me know. Interesting. I don't see a podcast playlist on this channel. Okay. There is definitely one there. So I'll have a look after the stream. Oh, there you go. Doug's got an answer for you. Podbean is one of the many podcast hosting services. They all run RSS feeds. So basically YouTube will take them all via RSS. So it'll work. Whether it's the best or not, who knows? The different podcasting hosting services have different levels of data and analytics that they will share with you. So And then, you know, some of them are like, you get this level of data on a free account, but if you pay, you get this level of data. And some of them are like, if you do this on the free, like there's a lot of stuff to go into when choosing. So yeah, definitely. Maybe it's not under playlists. Maybe it's under podcasts. I'm just thinking about the different tabs across. And is there a podcast tab? Otherwise, click the playlist tabs and then there'll be one with a little podcast with the little things around the outside of it. That's just from my brain though. I'm not looking at it. Like, I've just got the live stream back end screen. Oh, there you go. Leanne spotted it. Check for the podcast heading. It's in the podcast tab. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate that. Because when I set it up, you have to set it up as a playlist, and my brain instantly puts it as a playlist. But it does. Podcasts have their own tab. So, but yeah. So I'm testing that. We'll see how it goes. It is. It's not a priority. I'm not making this for an audio listener. It specifically. I think it can work for an audio listener. So yeah, you found the podcast tab. Awesome. So I mean, with podcasts, like turning your live streams into we've totally derailed our conversation. With turning your live streams into a podcast, you do have to think about. You do have to think about the content that you are making. If you're making really visual content, it's probably not going to work as a podcast because the people it's not going to work as an audio podcast. Video podcasts are totally a thing, but it's not going to work as an audio podcast where they're not going to get to see what you're doing. So you really have to be quite descriptive if you're showing something on screen or if you're doing something with your hands. I mean, my hands are constantly moving, basically. They don't stop moving even when I'm asleep. So, you know, that's different. But definitely have a think about the content that you're making before deciding to turn it into a podcast playlist. Luigi, I would be checking Podbean's FAQs. I'd be going onto Podbean and deep diving in there and checking that out from their end. Fine, because they'll tell you where their RSS link is. They want that shared. It won't be hidden. Okay, so back to how to choose your live streaming topic. So it is definitely something you need to want to talk about or need to talk about. Some things we need to broach, but may not necessarily it could be a bit controversial, or it could be a little bit like you have to come in and apologize for something, like you said something bad or you said something that was incorrect, or sometimes you're just like, oh, I've got to come in and sort this mess out that I made. So sometimes there's that. Then you've got the ones that you want to make. So you try and think about something that fits your niche, fits your audience, and that you want to talk about, because you do need to be able to talk about it for some time. And as we've discussed in previous episodes, there's no no limit to how long you can talk on a live stream. It could be a 2-minute live stream. It could be a 5-hour live stream. There's no limits. The only real limits are if you're live streaming for longer than 12 hours, you won't get a replay. So if you want to make sure the replay is available, you need to make sure your live streams do not go for longer than 12 hours. It's 12 hours? Yeah, I think it's 12 hours. I don't think it's 10 hours. So you can live stream for as long as you want, but there are limits to YouTube will allow the replay back into your playlist. Yeah. So do we have any other questions on this topic or any other live streaming topic? I'm happy to tackle any live streaming topics. I'm not up there with podcasting, so I'm going to refer you to other channels if you have podcasting questions. So yeah, we'll go there. Luigi's got lots of questions about podcasting. Luigi, as I said before, I would be checking out a channel that's more specific to podcasting. StreamYard has actually been running a regular live stream with a real I can't remember his name. I can picture his face. But if you go and check out the StreamYard channel, they're doing big discussions every week with top podcaster who is talking about how they're going through and making things. So you can check out the more podcasting information from channels that that are actually, you know, heavy into podcasting and can give you more ways to work out what works for you, because what like in anything, what works for me may not work for you. Let's have a look here. So Trish is asking equipment again. How do you live and see the chat? Okay, so for me personally, I have two screens. Okay, so I have got my Mac Mini, and I've got two monitors running into it. So one monitor I have StreamYard, just the StreamYard screen. Then on the other monitor, I have YouTube playing. So it is the back end of YouTube, so I can see my stream strengths and all that sort of stuff to make sure that everything's going well. It also means that I can moderate directly into YouTube, and make it a lot easier that way. So I'm a person who prefers two screens. If you're a person who prefers one screen, you can minimize, you can actually pop the YouTube chat out and put it on the side and minimize the StreamYard screen down. So I'm assuming that most people will live stream using a laptop or a single monitor. You can do it that way. So you can actually bring in the different chats that way. So I definitely would recommend that. If you are one of these people that live streams on mobile devices, which I'm seeing a lot more of, I would definitely have another mobile device or your laptop or something open to be able to read the chat. I totally understand that not everybody has this setup that I have. I do a lot of different jobs for different people, and having the multiple screens is very helpful in a lot of areas of my business, not just live streaming. So being able to have the dual screens, I know, is a little bit of a luxury for me. Can you use a camera and a phone? You can bring in, I'm using a camera right now. I'm on a paid plan from StreamYard, so I have the option in the present section to bring in an additional camera, so I can bring in another phone that way by using something like Elgato. What's their phone app? I can't think of it off the top of my head. Hang on. I've got it on my phone. Let me look. Oh no, I put it on my iPhone. I didn't put it on this one. Epoch Cam Pro. I've grabbed that one so that I can use my phone as a webcam directly in. So you can utilize your phone. The other option, if you've got the bandwidth for it, and not everybody does, and I personally don't find it the best for me, is you can bring in your phone as a guest so that you can have like the two images side by side, like you've got, like, say, you know, a guest came in, you can treat your phone like that, and you can make it so that one is big and one is small, things like that. So you can create some custom layouts that way. But you can bring your phone in either as a webcam device if you've got the software set up for it. If you do not, then you can use your phone as an alternate guest, but remembering that the phone will also be using your internet data and bringing down the full stream as well. So I've been enjoying the Epoch Cam Pro. I got the Pro because I didn't want the watermark. I found the watermark really annoying. So I upgraded. So yeah, it's from Elgato. That's right, Epoch Cam Pro from Elgato. I've got an old iPhone because I'm running the Mac Mini. I've got my daughter's old iPhone when she upgraded. I've got her 7 Plus or whatever it is. Just here, it basically has to live on charge because it's dying. But I find that having that phone rather than my daily everyday phone, because it doesn't have a SIM in it, no calls can interrupt it, all these sorts of things. So I find that works for me, but you have to work out what works for you. Definitely put your phone on Do Not Disturb if you're going to be using it as a camera. Let's have a look here. Amazing Yacht Destination says, I love OBS. And that's totally free. Yeah, OBS is great. I streamed for 5 or 6 years, five years using OBS. there is a steep learning curve on OBS, and not everybody can sort of get into it. I think if you're going to use OBS, go and watch Gaming Careers and Adam over at Epoch. What's his Epoch's Vox? Epoch's Doug. What's Adam's channel's name? I can't remember. These two guys create amazing content for specifically for OBS users. So if you want to dig into OBS, then go in that way. Trish says, I'm sure I could do it on my laptop, but I need the down facing. Yeah. Okay. So like my other channel, I've got a webcam just here. Let me see. No, even if I zoom out, you can't see it. I've got the camera low, but on a little arm, I have a webcam just sitting up here. So, I mean, let's just, I'm just like, what's on my desk? Just tidy my desk a little bit. Okay. Before I bring it in. All right. So on the other channel, I actually run Ecamm through so that I can so I can have all the layers. So, you know, if you look at my other channel, so like basically the layout for my other channel is that. Okay. So I'm not centered. Let me get in my box. Get in your box. So I have this, but so that I can have all the like the little frame and everything, I do all that through Ecamm. So and I'm running Ecamm into here as well. I like with Ecamm that I can, without touching my camera, I can resize and zoom everything and make it how I want it, without having to actually physically touch the camera. That's one of the things I absolutely love about Ecamm. So, but without Ecamm, I'm not going to screen share it, but basically if you click present, and then on a paid plan, it has to be a paid plan in StreamYard to have access to this, click extra camera, and then you can choose the camera. And then bring it on screen like it's a guest. Second camera, I can make it big, small, swap them around, what have you. So I can do this all directly in StreamYard. This camera is set to something else at the moment, so the color is really bad. But that's basically how you do it. So it's straight up just add in the second camera, and there are options for creating, you know, the different scenes as well that you've got. So I'm just going to remove that and then come back to this. There we go. So yeah, so you've got the options right there within StreamYard as well, that you can just go in and do the second cameras. There you go, Epos Vox. Adam does great tutorials and fantastic, and so does Gaming Careers. They both have phenomenal tutorials if you are into OBS, definitely. Yeah, you can also do split screens with one monitor. For sure you can, yeah, but it will depend on the size of your monitors, for sure. A lot of it comes down to what you have. And you need to work out what you actually need on the screen in front of you. So if so you can make it all fit and what have you. So yeah. Oh, you do like that? That's cool. That is awesome. Oh, Doug has a super tip for top-down iPhone users. Come on, Doug, spill the tea. Amazing yacht destination. Oh yeah, Prism. I've heard about Prism. I haven't personally used it, but Prism is another option. So there's when it comes to the streaming softwares, you can't compare StreamYard to OBS. You can't. StreamYard is a web-hosted software. OBS is a machine-hosted software. You can run a live stream on a pretty lightweight laptop, on something that doesn't have a lot of grunt. You can run a live stream, and I have done this. I can run a live stream from a laptop that I can't edit a video on. It's like this little i5 Lenovo thing that I take when I'm traveling. And I can run a double camera stream with my audio on that little laptop, but I can't edit a video on it. It doesn't have the grunt for editing a video. So OBS is a hardware based. So you have to download it onto your computer. You have to run the signals directly out of your computer. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Ecamm is the same, and I love Ecamm, but they are offering different services, and they're offering different things for different levels of streamer and comfort. So you need to balance it up. Like, what kind of computer do you have? Do you want to upgrade? Do you need to upgrade for any other reason other than live streaming? Then maybe go to StreamYard for a little while and see if it's enough. Let me have a look here. It's an ease of use tip. Oh, I'm going to make a video. All right. Okay. We'll keep an eye on Doug's channel for his super top tip for top down iPhone user camera stuff. So there you go. Never heard of OBS. Look, it is one of those things. Its user interface is a little ugly. It's not awesome, but the functionality is insane. You can do pretty well anything. And it is 100% free, and people are able to make plugins and little mini apps that you can run through OBS. And they're all free as well. Like there's so much option and functionality with OBS, but there's a steep learning curve. So it's one of those things. You have to decide, do you want to put that energy into that? Or do you want to just do StreamYard where it's a bit plug and play? Or, you know, you get to decide. It's your channel, and it's how your brain works and what equipment you currently have. I'm in team, don't wait for you to have the right equipment before you start, because you can do nearly everything on YouTube without U-Butte fancy equipment. You can do it all without 2 screens. You can do it without a fancy camera. My very first 4 years of live streaming was using OBS with webcams. No fancy cameras, Logitech C920 and the webcam on my laptop. They were my 2 webcams. Team, don't wait. Yeah, absolutely. Team, don't wait. Don't wait for the specific perfect storm of gear and internet speeds and, you know, confidence. Just jump in and do it. That's where I'm at. So, sounds too young for me. I don't think so. I don't think it's too young for you at all. I mean, I know of other creators that are your age and older using OBS. It just comes down to what works for you. What can you make work for you now? I'm in Primal Video Accelerator, which is Justin Brown's paid group, and one thing that Justin says all the time is, what would it look like if it were easy? So strip away all the hard stuff. Strip away all the bells and whistles. How do you get your message across the easiest way possible? And try that. Is it enough? Sure, probably. Do you want more? Maybe. For me, I love the lights, okay? I love all the fun little quirky lights, all right? That is my big downfall. It's like, I'm happy with a good internet speed, and I'm happy with, you know, good audio. But if I get to have a special bells and whistles, it's the lighting. It's like, not the lighting, not this lighting, this is necessary. But all of this, not necessary. That's just fun. It's just because I love it. So, yeah. Let me have a look in the chat here. I tried splitting the screen, hated it, added the second monitor for making screen sharing something. Yeah, if you're screen sharing, I really think a second monitor is it just makes life so much easier. You can totally screen share from a single monitor, for sure you can. Is it easier doing it with 2 monitors? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Oh yeah, we did. So in an interview Justin and I did like 12 months ago, we had this great conversation. You can totally check it out. It's just sitting there in the playlist. But I did recently make a short about, you know, is it the gear that stops people? Like, is it actually the gear, or they think it's the gear that stops people from live stream? Because that's a regular topic. Oh, here we go. That's a great one. I'm going to add that to my list right now. Going live from your phone. If my pen worked. Come on. There we go. Going live from your phone. I'll be honest, I don't do it very often. I like being in my little safe place with with my big screens because I'm, old and need reading glasses and my phone's very little. But we can totally do it. We can do it as a test. Um, Amazing Yacht Repairs says my biggest hold up is my background. Okay, all right. I can see how that's an issue. Have you considered a virtual background of some description? Is that something you can do? Not everybody can. Not everybody is comfortable with it, but I think you could be comfortable with it. There are definitely ways to add in nice virtual backgrounds. So maybe have a look at that. Yeah. Because I did not always have my pretty wall of fake brick. It's definitely fake. It's stuck up with painter's tape and gaff. But yeah, I wanted a particular look, and the easiest and cheapest way for me to get that look was a $7 backdrop from eBay and some gaff tape. So that's what I went with. Let me have a look here. I can't live without 2 monitors, and my bonus, I'm planning to go to 4 screens. Yeah, there you go. See, not all of us are team 1 screen. Whenever I have a laptop, I always shove in a secondary monitor to my laptop. But now I actually have 2 dedicated screens because I moved. I used to run everything from like a heavy duty gaming laptop. And then it started getting a bit glitchy and was being a bit naughty, and it had to go to the doctors. And I realized I do not have a backup that can run any of this stuff. So I grabbed a Mac Mini, and I still my gaming laptop went to the doctors. It's now perfect, so I've got both. So yeah, and one of the streams I ran, I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember if it was this channel or the other channel, but I ran test streams because we were having problems with the streams. I actually just unplugged 2 plugs from the Mac Mini and plugged them into my other laptop, and it brought everything over, including a monitor. So it's super easy to set some things up sometimes. Serena does a nice job with that. Are you talking with mobile lives? I think you're right. I think she does as well. Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. Instead of your phone, you can use your tablet. What I would probably do is still go live from my phone and then use my tablet to read comments. So yeah. It's a gorgeous wall. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Let me look here. I use 3 large screens. Yeah. My son has 3 at home. But I don't know how many at work. Okay. So I currently have a, this one here is a 27-inch monitor on an articulated arm, so I can swing it around and move it to wherever I want. And this one here is a 32-inch curved. I love having big screens for editing on. I just think it makes life a bit easier, but not everybody can do it, and you don't have to have it. It's just over the years, and I didn't buy both screens at the same time. I bought, the screens are about 2 years apart. So you can slowly add something. It's like, okay, I need to next level something. What is it going to be? Is my audio good? If my audio is good, move on to lighting. Is my lighting good? Move on to cameras. Is my camera good? Move on to peripherals. Okay. Do I want fun lighting? Do I need a new monitor? Do I need anything? Probably not. I'm still buying a new light. So yeah, and that's the order that I think of as well. That's my order of priority. So some people are all about the camera. I'm not all about the camera. I'm all about the audio. So do you have solid audio? Now, I recently did upgrade my audio. I now have a Rodecaster Pro 2. Oh my God. Totally unnecessary for what I do, but helpful, because I am routing in music to some of my live streams now, and I was coming across issues with it. So to be able to route in more things, make things easier for myself, I was able to bring in this particular device. But my Rode AI 1 is still on my desk. It's absolutely a backup piece of equipment because it's as simple as plug it in, go. So I'm that person who I have a spare camera. It's not this exact camera, it's the camera I upgraded to. It turns off every 30 minutes. There's no way to stop it. It's annoying, but it's a backup camera. It's a solid camera, and I've already got I plug my cameras into mains power so they don't turn off during a live stream. So I have a backup camera. I have my phones are handy if everything dies. I have backup internet. So while I'm running through my house internet here, if something happens and we lose our house internet, I can switch over really quickly over onto my mobile internet and continue the stream. I'll drop out for a second while I hook it up, but with StreamYard, that doesn't matter because you'll just see the background screen. I should probably change the background screen to something like, technical difficulties or something. I don't know. But definitely having some backups makes me feel better. Like, you don't have to have any of it. You can totally fly by the seat of your pants and just have one thing. But backups are great for at least for me, knowing if the Rodecaster went crazy, I can just quickly plug in the audio to a different interface. Good to go. If the lighting goes a bit crazy, it's harder because this room is dark. I've got to get up an open window, but I've got a window right here. It's massive. But I have it covered with sound blankets, so I'd have to pin it open. Definitely ways to sort it out. But it's audio, then lighting, then camera. Because you can make a fairly mediocre webcam look pretty darn solid if you've got decent lighting. So, you can play with these things. Plug and play. Absolutely. I love plug and play equipment. It makes life much easier. My camera will go for hours and hours, but continues on, and I just get multiple videos. Okay, so when you're recording, yes. Okay, I get that. I feel like being fake if it's not really there. Yeah, like this is the thing. You don't have to make your background, like I know Russell suggested some marina pics as backdrops. You don't have to make it marina pics. You can just make it something tidy. You can make it something plain if you want. But then I would look at what is the real issue with your background. Is it just something that you like, is there people moving around or something? Or is it like just messy that you could clean up? Or is it like you're in the back of a storage room and this is where everything goes to die? So, you could cover it with something, or you can go green screen and make it just another room. You can green screen in another room. So you've got some options. And you know what? Green screening, you could possibly feel fake. But does it come across as fake to your audience? Not necessarily. Not unless you're trying to portray that you're living in some schmicko fancy situation when you're just not. But if you're just making a tidier environment for your backdrop, or it's a security thing, then it's people are used to it. Lots of people do it. Upgrade your skills before you upgrade your equipment. Absolutely. I tend to, when I'm buying equipment, I do a lot of research, okay? I want something that's a little bit future-proof so that I'm not upgrading every 5 minutes. And so that obviously sometimes takes a little bit of cash. So I need time to save. So in the meantime, I'm making sure that I absolutely need it. So am I hitting up against the limitations of the equipment, or am I hitting up against my limitations? Because if it's my limitations, I can learn more. I love learning. Learning is my favorite thing. Like, I'm a knitter who literally goes and finds different ways that they knit in different countries just to learn how to knit that way. Like right now, I'm learning Norwegian knitting, right? I love to learn. It is part of me. And I don't know if that's part of everybody, but it's definitely part of me. So making sure that you've learned all there is to learn about the device or the equipment that you're using, to double check that it's not user limitations. But sometimes you do hit the limits of the equipment. And that's when I tend to upgrade. Trish says, I'm thinking more and more to make video and then do a live on top. but not sure. Okay, so Trish, are you regularly uploading to your channel? I would love to know that question. I made a room in my house, but it feels too empty. The grey walls, so I can color the walls with lights. Yeah, grey is perfect. Grey. Oh, I'm raspy. Hang on. Grey is fantastic for lighting. Like when people are like, I'm going to paint my room white so it's better for lighting. Don't paint it grey. Like if you get to paint a room specifically for video creation and you don't need white for some sort of aesthetic, go grey. Absolutely. Grey does amazing things with color. It creates an actual depth of color. It doesn't just look like boof, a splash of blue on. It actually becomes blue and spreads. It's fantastic. So grab yourself a fun light or two and see what you can do. You can also, depending on your camera, bokeh it up a little bit just so that it's that little bit less crispy in the background and so that it actually draws attention to you, bit of light in the background. I'm thinking, have a little look at some of the work that Brian G has been doing lately. He's got this big room full of shelves and stuff and it's real nice. But if you have a look at how he's placing the lighting around the room, you can just add just a little bit of light to wash across a wall and have some darkness. And, you know, you can create total moods with like an empty room and some lighting, like for sure. And have some fun with it. I mean, I'm like, yeah, buy the lighting so that I'm not here by myself buying the lighting. It's like some people like buy new cameras. I'm like, nah, don't buy camera, buy more lighting. Oh yeah, definitely needed to hydrate. Like a friend of mine says, YouTubers say, buy it nice or buy it twice. Absolutely. And I made a mistake with some lighting earlier in the year. And I bought these cool lights, which I love to pieces, but they're not Bluetooth lights. So I actually physically have to like change colors by like going dip, 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 like 300 times, like dip, dip, dip to get to the color I want to get to. The lights themselves are fantastic. And the company have now brought out the newer model with the Bluetooth version. And I'm just like, oh, because the lights are great. They're like, hang on, I'll grab one. One of them is what's doing this pink over here. I've just got it on a little arm. But the other one is this one here. Just this little light. You can actually screw them into each other and extend them out as well. But the controls, it's like buttons for everything. I'll just turn it on. So that's sitting at that's 90%, but I tend to put it up against the wall so you can see the difference that makes just doing that there. It was like $30. It was cheap, and I should have known you don't get Bluetooth lights for that kind of price. So that's Australian dollars. Yeah, I love knitting. And I love crocheting and I love spinning, but I'm constantly learning. And it's the same here with live streaming and video production. You need to keep learning. Things change constantly. YouTube changes constantly. You can't stop learning. You just can't. Okay, so you are uploading content once or twice a week. If you want to live stream, I would pop in a live stream. Do a test. Schedule it so that your viewers that come in to watch your videos can be there, and do one and see how you feel. Just say, hey, I'm going to run a live stream. I've never done one before. It's a total tech check. Come in and say hi while I, muddle around and try and make this work. We'll see if we can make something good. Bring your community in that way. Let me look. You have those lights as well? Yep. Nope. These ones don't have an app. It's very annoying. And that's what I mean. Like, I did not research it enough. And I Googled, like when I was looking on Amazon, I'd specifically I was like looking for apps with like Google Control, and because usually if it's Google Control, you can do that. So that's why I got, This way. I swing this way. See this bar here? There's two of those. There's one sitting there and one sitting there. I bought those during the Amazon sale. They are the Govee TV light bars. You can actually stick them to the back sides of your TV, or you can lay them and do whatever you want with them. They've got an app. Their app is great. There's tons of funness you can have in there. So them I bought. They were on sale. I got them for 80 Australian dollars during the Black Friday sales, and I unpacked them very fast. They arrived like up. Install the app. So yeah. But little lights that aren't Bluetoothable, they're not rubbish. Especially, I love how, like, I've got, where's one? Where'd he go? I must have put him somewhere. But I've got like the aperture, the original little white aperture. It's like, it's very thin, it's very small, very lightweight. I can connect that to the top of my phone. I can do a pile of stuff with that. I've got the Aperture RGB WW, which was their next step up. Again, small and little, magnetic. This guy's magnetic as well, so you can just stick them onto, there you go. There's his magnet. There. So, you know, you can just stick them on to anything metal and go from there. So, yeah, magnetic on both sides. So, you know, you can play with them and just put them places. It's very useful and helpful. But yeah, so I prefer to be able to connect my lights and have them controlled by one of those entities. I've just realized I made him glow before, so I'm not going to say his name again. But definitely work out what you want. So I personally have my studio set up so I can walk in and go, hey, G Machine, turn on the video lights. And everything turns on, bling, except for this light and those two colored lights. Everything else turns on. So I'm just like, frustration. But I'll get there. I'll slowly upgrade them. Yes, I will. As they die. The only reason these lights, like I've just got old soft boxes, but I've got a power board that is controlled. So I've got it plugged in and labeled and added into Google, into the Google Home app, and have made a space in there. And so not everything is smart, but it can be turned off and on using that. Like this guy here, even if I turn his power off and on, you still have to tap a button on the back to actually turn him on. Same for these guys here. When you turn them off, their power turns off, sure, but their battery runs down and you've still got to power them on with their button. So options. Anyway, we totally got sidetracked. It totally happens. You guys know that. End of the stream. Who knows what we're going to be talking about? Certainly won't be what we started the stream talking about. Does anyone have any more questions for me for anything to do with live streaming? Whether it be lighting or sound or live streaming softwares or whatever, drop it in the chat while I have a little drink. Definitely needed a drink. It was getting a bit parched in there. Okay, yeah, Trish, if you do a live stream and I happen to be awake and up and around, I will totally pop in and say hi, for sure. Oh, well, do you know what I would do? Legal minded Karen, I can't answer that question. That's a YouTube question. And YouTube feels that not everybody wants to be notified all the time, even on the channels that they have selected notify. You need to be logged into your app on your phone and have notifications enabled on your phone as well for them all to work. But anyway, I go live at the same time every week, unless I put out a notice a couple of days beforehand saying I'm not going to be live. So you can actually just pop it into your calendar, which is what I do. With regular live streams that I don't want to miss, they're actually in my calendar so that I don't miss them. Because I'm one of these people that if it's in my calendar, it gets done. So if I want to watch that live stream, I add it to my calendar. Yeah, this is the thing. Don't panic when things go wrong in your live stream. it's very easy to get flustered, especially if this is not your strength, but don't give up. Just be like, okay, hang on. I just need a second to think. And just be like, okay, what do I need to do to fix this? And have a little think. Dead air is fine. People can see that you're troubleshooting. You can just be like, okay, all right, I might be able to fix it by doing this. And actually talking through what you're doing. That's super helpful. You so wanted to hear from the start. I'm so sorry. I would go in and check out your time zone. So we started an hour 25 ago, whatever time that is for you. So it was 9 a.m. for me, Brisbane time. Go into your calendar. I use Google Calendars, and go in and add in 9 a.m. Brisbane time. Chantelle is live, and it'll actually put it in the right spot for the right day on your calendar. 9 a.m. Mondays, and you can actually set that just as a recurring, and you'll just get like a 10-minute beforehand notification if you're on a Google Calendar. I don't know about the other calendars. But yeah, I would definitely do that. If there's a stream, not necessarily mine, but if there is a stream that you don't want to miss and they run it regularly and you keep missing the start, add it into your own calendar. Don't rely on YouTube. You might just keep missing out. I don't like missing out because of other people. So I add it into my own calendar. I panic easily, but I never let it show. Yeah, look, I panic and I let it show, and I get flustered. I do. I get flustered. And what I get flustered about, are you ready for it? This is so dumb. I get flustered that I may get flustered enough for my stutter to kick in. And I work really hard to not have that happen. So I really have to think about it and slow down my talking and slow down my brain so that I can actually articulate the thought and keep going. And so I get flustered about something else. I get, it's like, damn, this thing's not working. Grr. Oh no, I'm getting flustered. Oh no, my stutter's going to kick in. So yeah, I get flustered about the wrong stuff. Welcome to my personality. Imagine what it's like in here all the time. So yeah, well then what I do is I put the I'll be right back and then start troubleshooting if it allows me to do so. Absolutely. How many of you actually went and watched the create a be right back screen and then created your own be right back screen? I'm really curious. So that it's there, so that if something goes wrong, you can just go, I'm going to try and solve this problem. I'm going to be back real soon, and then just click the be right back screen. That is the problem. I had you down as starting at 12 midnight and you started 1 hour and a half ago. I wonder if YouTube has not changed the time zones. I don't know. Yeah, I start at 9 a.m. Brisbane Eastern time. So don't go just Australian time or Eastern Standard Time, because there's daylight savings in Australia as well. So you need to find the Brisbane times. So yeah. I have a big problem with people that stutter as I start to stutter as well and can't help it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, you've created the be right back screen. That is awesome. I watched but didn't make one. I would make one. If you are worried about troubleshooting live, I would jump in and make one for sure. Definitely. Yeah, it's currently 10:29 in Brisbane AM right now. So, yeah. But on that note, lords and ladies of the internet, I'm going to end the stream and catch up with you again next week. If you have a topic that you want me to tackle, make sure you pop it in the comments of the replay. I always check. I always reply where I can, unless, you know, you're being rude, and then I delete your comment. But if you write a nice comment or just a comment without rudeness, then it gets to stay. So yeah, definitely pop in your requests, and where I can, I will. And I will see you all next week. Have an amazing week. And have a go. Have a go. You don't have to go live publicly. You can go live privately. and just watch it for yourself. So have a go. And I'll see you next time. Bye.